Hello everyone and welcome back to Kristen and Kirby. Today we're going to be doing a tank tour, tank setup, enclosure tour, whatever you want to call it. Let's go. So for starters, here is the whole thing. So you can see Kirby down there. Yeah, it's just on my floor in my bedroom. Some people have like racks they like to set them on, but I find just putting it on the floor is, it doesn't really cause any problems for me. So first things first, here is the whole thing. I have a 40-gallon tank. That is the absolute minimum that you want to have for your bearded dragon. For the first 3 weeks to a month, I had Kirby in a tank that was 20 gallons. It was just like a little fish tank thing that I got. And that was just so he could get acclimated to the space and be able to run around and not have to climb so high just to get heat, because he was very, very small. So because he was the runt, I had to get a smaller tank for him, because if I put him in a bigger tank that was this big, it would take a lot of energy for him to get to the cool side, to the hot side. So it would, burn more energy for someone that small. So if you have a bearded dragon that's really, really small when they start out, you might want to start them off just for a few weeks, not even anywhere near more than a month, in a smaller tank than this, just so they can get acclimated to being in a tank, and also so they can know that they need to run over to a hot spot when they need heat, and there's a cool side when they don't need heat. So as you can see, over here is the hot side where the light is. That's where the basking area is and where the heat is. And then over here where there's no light, other than the UVB strip going across the top, which I'll get to in a second, is the cool side. So that's where he is right now. He was basking up there earlier, and now he's gone down to the cool side to cool off from that. So first things first, the lights. So this is just a classic ZooMed dome light fixture. So usually what they want you to do with these is put a heat lamp in one side and a UVB bulb in the other side. So if you remember from my previous video, I said that you should never use one of those coil UVB bulbs that would normally go over here. You want to use one of these, a UVB tube. So this is the hood for the light. I'm gonna lift it up real quick so you guys can see. That is what the light looks like. You just screw it in. It's incredibly easy, no tools needed. You want to get one that fits across at least half of the tank lid. So as you can see, this one does this. This is a 40-gallon tank, like I said before. And so the dimensions of this, I think this is 36 across. So the one that would fit the top the most was the 24-inch hood with the 22-inch bulb. I'll insert some video footage of the bulb packaging so you can see exactly what to look for when you look for it online. So the next thing I have on top of this tank is this little bowl right here that has the tongs and some tweezers for feeding. So I use the bigger ones for bigger critters like crickets, and then I use the tweezers, just regular old tweezers, for smaller things like mealworms, which are kind of hard to pick up with the thick prongs of the tong here. So that's what I have in this bowl. Then if we move over to this side of the lid, I have this temperature laser. Now it's really simple. You just press this and then it shoots a laser and tells you how hot it is. This is really, really important to have because you need to make sure that your temperature in the tank on all sides of the tank are what they need to be. Over here is the cool side. So this is the side where they would like to hide. So you want to put your hide here. You also want to put your veggies here because they won't evaporate and dry up as much if it's on the cooler side. And I also put some vines up here, but I'll get to that later. And this is where Kirby likes to hang out most of the time because he heard his name. He always responds to his name. Right, Kirby? Hi, Kirby. And if I go down here, I have a thermometer that tells me that it's 79 and that the humidity is 30%. So jumping forward a little bit, since I just featured it, I want to talk about this thermometer as well. You can never be too careful about your temperatures. You really, really want to pay attention to them, or else your bearded dragon can have a lot of nutritional and dietary issues. So this is something that I got on Amazon. Of course, I'll link it down below. It's really, really cheap. It's just a thermometer that also tells you the humidity level. So his humidity level, as you can see, is at 30% right now. And on the cool side, it's around 79 degrees. The highest it has gone is 81, and the lowest it goes, which is usually at nighttime, is 72. You want to keep the humidity between 30 and 40%. As you can see, it's getting higher now because it's not in the tank where there's heat to evaporate all the moisture. It's outside of the tank. It's in my room. But you want it to be between 30 and 40% humidity in the tank, or else if it gets any higher than that, it can cause respiratory issues for your dragon. So this is calcium. You want to get calcium that doesn't have D3 in it. That's important. And then you also want to get vitamins, multivitamins for reptiles. I also got this one. This one came with the tank that I got. The tank that I got came with a bunch of different things in it, and this was one of them. As you can see, this is just calcium, not vitamins, and then it just has no D3 in it. So this one ran out basically. There's very, very little in there, but I just keep it as a backup in case one of these runs out and I just like don't remember. I'm a very forgetful person. This is why I have backups for everything. So that's what's over there. Before we go inside, I want to tell you a little bit about the tank. So over here I have this decal that I got from a good friend of mine on Instagram. His name is Gilbert the Dragon. I will @ him in the description, and then I will @ him on the screen. Over here, I just have this Pangea logo. It's the store that I bought the UVB tube from, so that I always know where to get it. I put it on their sticker on here. I love when companies send stickers. I just think they're cute. And then over here is from another reptile friend on Instagram. Also, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna mention it now. This tank I got as a whole set. It was a tank that came with a bunch of stuff in it, and I don't use any of the stuff that it came with other than the basking bowl that it came with. That's the only thing. The greens bowl also came with this. So the greens bowl, this little light in here are the only items from there that I got. It came with a bunch of food that he can't even eat. It came with Repti sand, as you guys saw before in my previous video. I don't believe in Repti sand unless you are a very, very experienced reptile owner. Especially for babies, do not use sand. I'm telling you this because a lot of people get this tank with all the stuff in it. So if you get this tank with all the stuff in it, you're not going to use most of that stuff. So you might as well just get a tank and then buy the things that you need separately. So going inside, first you're gonna see this wonderful wallpaper that my followers chose. So this wallpaper is actually not one of those stick-on reptile wallpaper things that you see. I got this as wrapping paper from society6.com. They have incredibly cheap wrapping paper, and they give you so much wrapping paper, guys. I have wrapping paper to last me like probably 3 Christmases, and I only got it for $9. So it comes in like big sheets, and then I just put it up against the glass and cut around it, and then taped it on with just some packing tape, clear packing tape. So, and then I just did that all the way around, and I think it looks really cute. So we did the walls, now let's do the floor. So what I have here is called a Zen mat. I get so many questions about this mat and about what it is. I'm obsessed with this. I'm not affiliated with the company at all. It's from Zen Habitats. They have some really great tanks that they build. They have some really great mats. They have really great stuff on that website, so you should definitely go check it out. I am not sponsored by them, not affiliated with them at all. I just really love their products. So this is called a Zen mat, and it's really, really smooth, and it's kind of feels like plastic, but I know it's something else. And it has traction so that your bearded dragon doesn't slip and slide around like on a you know, wood floor or something, there's like some traction here. You can hear it. So basically it comes in like a giant sheet so that it can fit any size tank. And then you take the dimensions of the inside of your tank with like a tape measure, the tape measure that you already should have for measuring your bearded dragon. By the way, refer back to my first video if you don't know what I'm talking about. So you measure it to the size of the inside of your tank, you cut it, and you put it in. Let me tell you, this thing is so smooth. You can wipe up their droppings really, really easy. So for my cleaning, I just use vinegar water in a spray bottle, and I just spray it on the mat and I wipe it up. I use a 1-to-1 ratio of the vinegar water. So half vinegar, half water, and just spray it, clean it up. And it really is good for calcium, droppings, vitamins, anything that would make the bottom of your mat really dirty. Now let's talk about what's inside the tank. So this is his basking rock. It is made out of styrofoam and it is painted. I got it on Amazon and it's really cheap. And as you can see, it is floating. But how? Did you glue it? No. It has really, really powerful magnets on the back that hold it up. So don't even worry about your dragon sitting on it and it falling. I'm telling you, these magnets are really, really powerful. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is his ramp. I made a little ramp out of this. It's just a piece of cork that I got from my local pet store and I use it as a ramp. I put it right there so it doesn't wobble back and forth. I really had to position it on a place in this rock so it wouldn't wobble back and forth when he gets on it. And then I also put it up against this so that it will not move. And here we have Gudetama. It's just a little stuffed Japanese cartoon character that I got from Disney World. And when I brought it back home, I thought it would be really cute in his tank, and he immediately loved it. He climbed all over it when he was smaller, and sometimes he cuddles with it when he's sleeping. It's really cute. So over here we have his hiding spot. So this hiding spot is on the cool side, like I mentioned before. You want to have a place where they can hide and stay cool. And this is just made out of wood. Once again, I got it from my local pet store. You really want to get one that's big enough so that they can fit their whole body in it. He sleeps in this. It's still big enough for him, but eventually when he gets bigger, I will have to get a bigger one. So yeah. He sleeps here most nights now. He used to not use this at all for I'm talking 5 months. I had this in here and he didn't go in here once. Now, all of a sudden, he sleeps in here almost every night. He loves it. The second place that he sleeps all the time is right here. This is his new #1 favorite spot to be. It used to be on the cork, then it was under here, and now it's on top of here. So this I got on Amazon. It's a hammock, technically, just a woven hammock. So you just tie the suction cups right there, and then it suction cups to the glass right there. Hi, baby. Hi. Hi, Kirby. So another item in here is his food bowl. So I use this mainly for just greens, and as you can see, the only greens he will eat is escarole. There is a whole chart of everyday leafy greens that you can give them as their staple everyday green, and then there's also greens and vegetables that you shouldn't give them every day because of the different nutrients and contents that are in them. But one of the everyday staple greens is escarole, and it took me so long to figure out what green he wanted to eat every day. This is a very picky child. He is very picky. He only wants a few things. He hates fruits. He'll only eat a couple vegetables. And yeah, I'm talking about you. And really the only leafy green that he would eat consistently was escarole. And every time I put different vegetables or fruits as toppings on here, he won't go near the salad. He hates other things touching his greens. He only wants the greens. So you'll see people that have really fancy salads for their bearded dragon, but Kirby isn't about that fancy life, okay? He just wants the one thing that he wants. And then some days, most days, I sprinkle calcium on it. but today's a break day from calcium. So you might notice how there's not a water bowl in here. Having a water bowl in your bearded dragon's enclosure can actually be a bad thing because you want to keep the humidity at 30%, and that will make the humidity go up at least 10% in my personal experience. So I took it out immediately. Also, bearded dragons don't really recognize that there's water there unless it is moving. I give water to Kirby every day, and I use a little syringe bottle. It has water in it, and I use the dropper part, and I just feed him with the water. I put it on his nose, and he licks it. You can also put them in the bathtub, and then they can also drink there, but Kirby never wants to do that, so that's why I use the dropper method. So the last thing that we're going to talk about are the little plants that I have hanging around in here. They're all fake. Some people like to have real plants hanging, which I do want to do eventually one day. But as of right now, I just have these plastic ones. Got them from my local pet store. Most pet stores will have these. They're just really, really simple. They have suction cups on them, so they suction cup right to the glass. And I just have a few of them around to make the tank look pretty. And also, Kirby really likes to hide in them. One other thing that I wanted to talk about is that you want to keep your bearded dragons on around 12 hours nighttime, 12 hours daytime. So that might fluctuate in the winter and the summer. So like in the summer, you have more light usually outside. So in the summer, I try to make it 13 hours daylight and 11 hours nighttime. And in the winter, when it's darker for longer, I try to copy that within the tank. So I make it 13 hours darkness, 11 hours daylight. But you can just not change it and always do 12 hours and 12 hours, you know? Some people do that too. They don't change it, but I just think it's fun to change it to make him feel like he's in the real world out there. Another thing that I want to address about nighttime is that you do not want to get a red bulb. No red bulb. No red bulb. Red bulbs are really gonna disturb them when they're sleeping, because when they sleep, they basically need complete darkness. Obviously, if you have like some fairy lights or something like I do in my room and stuff like that, it's not going to bother them. But if you have a blaring red light in their face, even if it's fairly dark in there, there's still a blaring red light in their face when they're trying to sleep. They're not going to like that, and they're not going to get full amount of sleep with that red light. You never want to use a red light ever for bearded dragons. Another thing is, do not use a heating pad or a heating rock. Bearded dragons cannot feel heat on their stomach. That's a little fun fact. So they will burn and they won't feel it. They won't even know that it's happening. So that's basically everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you give this video a like if you're watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching for more content, and comment down below what kind of other videos you guys would like to see on this channel. Thanks for watching. See you later.